Welcome to March. My name is Megan Alton. I am a numerologist and an intuitive strategist, and I come and do these forecasts every month for you to help you understand the energy that's unfolding. I am a numerologist, and so what that means is I use numbers to interpret the energy of the patterns that are happening around us so that we can understand what's happening, have a little insight and clarity, and hopefully have some guidance and some ideas of how to move forward. The tool of numerology is really an anchor point or a foundation for our intuition to speak to us, right? So, what I really invite you to do when you're listening to what I'm going to share today is I really invite you to lean into your own inner guidance system, your own intuition, and see what comes up for you, right? I want you to see what lands with me, what resonates with me, what might be challenging me, or what might not even feel relevant to me at all. And I think it's really important that I preface this forecast by saying this because this is also an incredibly important energy for the entire year of 2022, as well as very significant for this month. So we are in March. It is a 9 energy month. We are in a 6 energy year, and we have 2 very important manifestation cycles happening in March. So I'm going to share all the details of what that means for you, how you can leverage that by focusing on different aspects of the energy, how you can use that to support you in the goals you might be working on. But make sure you let me know in the comments, what's coming up for you, what's landing, what questions do you have? If you're wondering, how to use this information in any way, let me know in the comments. Let me know what's coming up for you, so that I can support you. So I am on StreamYard, which doesn't always show comments. I'm just going to quickly check here to see. Yay, I've got some of you live with me. Hello, everybody. Awesome. Okay, good. Should we just dive into it? If you have your agenda handy, which I always do, you might want to take notes. You might want to jot down some of the significant dates that are coming up for you. And yeah, we'll go from there. So as I said, it is a 9 energy month in a 6 energy year. And there's a few big themes that are going to be emerging because of this. Number one, this entire month of March is really about mirroring and illuminating things to us. It's helping us see what is for us, what is not for us. It is helping us see some potential illusions which may have been created, either in our own minds or maybe shown to us by others. It is going to really, ask us to take a hard look to go within. The 9 energy month or 9 energy in general it can be associated with the Hermit and Tarot if you read Tarot. And it's an important time for going within and building trust with yourself. And this is one of the most important lessons that's really a lesson for the entire year, which I shared about in my entire year forecast, 2022 year ahead. If you didn't get access to that, comment in the chat because I'm happy to share it to you. It's a free training that you can watch at any point, but I go over the entire year, so still super relevant. But this entire year, especially this month, there's this energy coming up of who is the authority in my life, right? Who is the authority in my life? Who do I give authority or power to? What does leadership look like to me, right? There's this idea that we sometimes have of leaders that they know more than us, that they are somehow special, right? And in this, we can put leaders on this pedestal, that they have some kind of access to something, wisdom, guidance, something, I don't even know, it can even just be this je ne sais quoi that makes them special and makes them unique. And I call this energy pedestaling energy. And what happens when we put somebody on a pedestal thinking they know more than us, they are somehow, they have access to something that we don't have. Pedestaling them, putting them on a pedestal can actually take our own power away. It causes us to shrink. It causes us to doubt ourselves. It causes us to diminish our own inner power centers. It causes us to play small because we think, well, they're more this or more that than me. So who am I to know what's right? And, it's very important to tune into this energy because, well, there's certainly people out there who've got a lot of experience, who've studied a lot, who've been to university for forever, or you know what I mean? And it's yeah, they're experts. So I want to get their advice. I want to receive their guidance. Let yourself be discerning. You can consult with experts and receive their guidance without giving your power away. And that's the difference between pedestaling and receiving guidance and insight and consulting with others. Collaboration and connection is key. But pedestaling, where you create a power imbalance, is super, super damaging to yourself, and it will erode self-trust and expand self-doubt, which is not what we want to do here. So how do you know the difference? How do you know when an expert is helpful to consult with, or when you could be creating this pedestal effect where you're diminishing your own power? How do you know? If you have suggestions on how to know, feel free to pop them in the chat. I know there's a lot of experts that listen to this and that will have some beautiful thoughts and ideas around this type of energy that we want to be aware of. But one of the biggest ones in my mind is, how do you feel when you are receiving the information? What is happening in your nervous system? Are you balanced? Are you dysregulated? Do you feel empowered, or do you feel disempowered? Do you feel like there is this kind of gatekeeping energy where they are hiding secrets that only certain people get, and things are more complicated and convoluted than necessary so that you can't interpret or understand them? These are all things to kind of be aware of. Or do you feel that they're in integrity? Do you feel that they're transparent? Do you feel that they share their sources, their teachers, their wherever they're getting the information from? Do you feel open and at ease with them? That is the biggest question I really want you to tune into at this time in so many areas of our life. And the reason this is coming up, because we have an opportunity to recognize where we have shrunk or played small or diminished our own power. And we are being asked to notice that and reclaim it. Now, I talk about inner power a lot, and that might even be kind of nebulous term. What does that even mean? What does it mean to be in your power? Well, it kind of is a nebulous term. I get what you're saying around that. I fully get it. But it's also a sense of I'm comfortable with who I am. I might not have all the answers. I might not always know what to do, but I'm comfortable with who I am, right? I know what my values are. I know what my priorities are. I'm allowed to question that. I'm allowed to evolve that and shift that as time goes on. And I'm comfortable that, when I make a decision, when I move forward with things, I can sit with myself and be with myself through that process. And this does require a beautiful sense of community as well, because, even as I described it, it's oh, that sounds a little hyper independent. We cannot know our truth without the community to help us mirror back what we're feeling and experiencing and noticing, without a sense of interdependence and co-regulation as to how we move forward. So leadership, self-leadership, sovereignty, owning your personal power is not done in a vacuum. It's done in a collaborative, community-based network where you've got other people modeling to you, oh yeah, I like this. This works for me. Ooh, that doesn't quite feel right. I'm glad to see that mirror so I can make different choices for myself, right? And I want you to take time. The month of March is highly reflective and illuminating. So take time in that noticing of ooh, like this. Nope, don't like that. You don't need to do anything about it in the external unless you feel called to do so, of course. But because it's a very reflective time, what I invite you to do is notice okay, so since I noticed I like that and I noticed I didn't like this, what am I going to choose to embody? How does that impact my values, my priorities, how I'm showing up, what matters to me? I'm going to let this help me assess my integrity and my alignment, which is something we can always be taking in information and assessing, right? So let me know how that's landing for you, how that's feeling for you, if you have any questions around that whatsoever. One of the pieces that has come up a lot with both my clients, the communities I work with, myself, friends, all of it is this idea of self commitment. Okay. If you've been following me for a while and following these forecasts for a while, you know that I talk a lot about um, one of the biggest ways to build trust and confidence in yourself is through commitments that you honor with yourself. The number one commitments that you will make, the most important commitments that you will make, are the ones you make to yourself, right? This is so, so true. And what happens when I make a commitment to myself and I don't do it? What happens when I say, I'm going to do a practice for 20 days and I fall short 3 days in? Or what happens when I try to do something and it feels like the whole world is conspiring against me? Like I had made myself a commitment to do a social media challenge back in, I'm trying to remember when it was. I think it was in January. It was 100-day social media challenge. And I got maybe a third or halfway through, and my kids got sick, and then I got sick, and then all this stuff started happening, and I totally fell off the wagon, right? Totally fell off the wagon, did not complete my challenge. Now, there's lots of different ways we can handle the situation, and like comment in the chat if you committed to something in the last month or two and have fallen off the wagon, right? Like, hello, it's kind of universal right now. But here's the thing, like, do we get down on ourselves about that? Do we beat ourselves up about that? Absolutely not. One of my favorite things to do is to look at the situation and say, like, what happened? What did I learn? Because whether I succeeded or failed at the challenge, I certainly learned something from it. So take some time to do that assessment. And then, one of the biggest intuitive hits that came up for me around when I was tuning into this forecast is this idea of the change that we're in right now. We are in a dramatic season of change. And we have been for quite some time. Last year's energy, right, 2021 was a 5 energy, which is a lot of change, a lot of switching it up. And then 2022 is a 6 energy, which is about karmic adjustment, smoothing out the rough edges, finding some integration and harmonization and equilibrium in the change. We are in recalibration mode right now. We are in recalibration mode. So knowing that you're in recalibration mode, oftentimes it is through the rest and the integration that the greatest changes can actually stick. So in March, in this time for reflection and illumination, I really invite you to spend some time journaling, reflecting, asking yourself, what changes have occurred in me? What have I noticed in the last, year and a half? Like this is a decent length of a cycle because this started, in January 2021. So it's a decent length of a cycle. What changes have occurred? And what am I integrating? What is like grounding in and creating a new equilibrium in my body? Because here's what I want you to understand, that if your body is in the transformation process, like let's use the caterpillar butterfly example, like it's a classic example and one we can all understand. So let's pretend that you are in your cocoon right now. You are integrating the lessons of the caterpillar as you transform into the butterfly. Well, like, let's say you're like, I don't know, 50-50 caterpillar butterfly right now. You're some kind of mushy sludge in the middle. And let's say that the caterpillar part of you was like, okay, Megan, here's the commitments you need to make. And then as you transform into the butterfly, these commitments seem less and less relevant to like butterfly lifestyle, butterfly experiences, because you're changing and that's okay. Like let yourself change. We are growth-minded creatures that experience lessons and challenges and triggers and opportunities. And we get to take those in and decide what to do about them, right? And in that awareness, we're going to integrate change. So if you've been struggling with self commitment, like I have, external circumstances causing me to stop, but also even just like no excuses, just haven't been able to like follow through with stuff, it's okay. Recognize the awareness around it of you are integrating change. And even maybe spend some time asking yourself, like using the analogy, you know, the caterpillar version of me is X, Y, and Z, believed X, Y, and Z, showed up X, Y, and Z. The butterfly version of me believes this, shows up in this way, has these identities, has these experiences. Okay. So, what if it's okay that some of my habits and practices and rituals are evolving with me as I shift and evolve? Like, what if that's a gift? What if that's a good thing? What if I'm being supported at the energetic level to lean into what's right for me? Like, is that possible? And what if that's beautiful and okay and supportive? Now, the thing I always like to kind of like caution around that is like, we can just like be stagnant. And like sometimes it's a problem, but sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's awareness and integration. Okay. And only you know the difference, right? Only you know the difference. You can ask yourself, am I in avoidance mode right now? Am I checking out because I don't want to face what I need to face? Or am I resting? Am I integrating? Am I rebuilding at the energetic level because I'm preparing for what's next? March is not necessarily an energy for dramatic movement forward. Always, of course, going to your intuition before anything I say, right? But I want to say that because if you are feeling called to be a little bit slower and a little bit more deliberate in March, that's beautiful. That's very energetically aligned. And we can use the analogy of the tortoise and the hare as an example. So the fable of the tortoise and the hare, where the hare jumped ahead, moved very quickly, and the tortoise took the slow and steady approach and won the race, right? So because of the slow and steady approach, because of the integration and the awareness being more, allowing that transformation to happen more fully, energy is more powerful than forced action, right? So the energy first approach followed by inspired action will make things stick more effectively. The key is you still need to take action. You can't just like sit on the couch and do nothing. I mean, you can, but that doesn't tend to create a manifestation, right? Like you need to have the energetic side, the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions and the energy, and then you need to take action from that place. But like, what if the slow, steady, deliberate actually serves you right now? So for those of you who might have been challenged by the self-commitments that you've made and falling off the bandwagon and then maybe beating yourself up because you were like, oh, I was supposed to do the thing and I didn't do the thing. Play with this and be like, was I disassociating and checking out and numbing? And if you are, like, no shame. Like, that's good. Sometimes we need that dose of relief in our body. Don't shame yourself for that. That's okay. Don't let it overtake you. Choose it. Choose it mindfully. And then make a new choice when you're ready to make a new choice. Or am I resting and rebuilding? Am I recalibrating? Am I reprogramming my nervous system? Am I reprogramming my thoughts and beliefs because my identity is shifted? I have once been a caterpillar and I'm evolving into a butterfly. And so with that, I'm going to have to think different thoughts, do different things, have different belief systems to go along with that identity. That is the evolution, right? I love, 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 love. Yes, I made commitments for the year that no longer serve me as the butterfly version, and that's okay. And it's a sign of growth and not failure. Beautiful. Thank you for that comment. That is absolutely on point. Okay, let's see. What do I want to go to next? Self-commitment. Yes. With the self-commitment conversation and the conversation about pedestaling and leadership, One of the other highlights that's coming up through this 9 energy is self leadership. And do I choose myself or do I defer? Right? Do I choose myself or do I defer? And I really want you to take to heart that nobody knows what's right for you better than you. I don't care how many decades they're an expert or how much experience they have. No one knows what's better than you, what's better for you than you, right? And so if you struggle with this of outsourcing your leadership or your power to somebody else, I want you to really take this to heart. I know what's best for me. I can receive information, gut check it, and I can trust my gut, my heart, my inner guidance system to know what's right for me. I can trust that I know what's right for me. Okay. I really want you to take that to heart in this month, because it is, the more you claim and own that, there's going to be this strengthening of this new identity that you're evolving into, which is about this reclamation of your power and your sovereignty. In that, some of you who understand how the drama triangle works, you will see like little subtle threads of victim energy, bully energy, villain energy, martyr energy, all this stuff coming up, where all of those archetypal energies are power leaks, right? They're all power leaks on some level. So if you notice any of those energetic archetypes in the world around you or in yourself, these are all opportunities to come back to say, well, what is my power and my responsibility? Your power and your responsibility are intrinsically linked, right? Intrinsically linked. They are deeply, deeply connected. So if you're noticing this archetypal energy around you, it's a great chance to recognize like, I'm seeing a pattern and an equilibrium that is off. How do I bring this back to balance in my world and in myself? And sometimes the shifts that we can make within ourselves, we'll notice that ripple out to the relationships around us, right? The more clear and confident and grounded I am in my practices, my habits, and my rituals, it benefits my kids. I see how it impacts my household, right? And so you can see the ripple effects spinning out into the world around you. And those shifts that are happening, the more you step into that sense of self-leadership and power within yourself. It is this month, it is about a journey of self-responsibility. And I really want to add, when I say it's a journey of self-responsibility, this does not mean a journey of isolation. Self-responsibility and isolation are not the same thing. Self-responsibility can absolutely be, who is my support system? Who do I count on? Who do I lean on? Who has my back? Who helps inspire me? Who do I feel like my best self around, right? Interdependence and co-regulation are critical, okay? Where do I want to go next from there? This is a month of integration, a month of alignment, and the month of really owning, what are these shifts that I'm making? And the reason I say that is because when we move into April, it's a 1 energy month. This is a new beginning and a fresh start, you guys. This is like the real January. This is like the real New Year's. I mean, we get lots of chances at that, so I don't want to I'm kind of half joking, but not. There's lots of kind of New Year's opportunities, right? You can align your New Year's to the moon cycles. You can align your New Year's to the calendar cycles. You can align the New Year's to your personal cycles, which will align with your birthday. But you can also align it to this energetic cycle of April being the like numerology new year in a sense, with a new manifestation start. Okay. So you've got opportunities for fresh starts, which means, where does your foundation lie? And there's so many opportunities for this in March. I'm like mind blown. So we start on a 1 energy day today, and we end on a 4 energy day at the end of the month. So we are book-ended with a start of the seed of who we are into the leadership that we are expanding into for ourselves and how that's going to ripple out. We also have 2 very important manifestation cycles playing out this month, which are kind of like microcosms of the year. Okay. One of the really important ones that's coming up is starting on Well, okay, so let's go back to the first. Sorry, I'm like, there's like 10 million things I want to share with you guys. It's hard for me to keep my thoughts organized. I hope you're feeling it. And if you're confused at all, like pop it in the chat and let me know, because I want to make sure this is really clear, because we have a lot of opportunity this month to anchor and to build foundation. Like if you take nothing away from today's call, but this, it is about self-reflection to anchor and build foundations of the new identities I'm moving forward, right? We're always shifting and growing and evolving and forming new identities. So let me be mindful and deliberate about that. Okay, so today is a 1 energy month, which means we're starting into a new manifestation cycle. As I mentioned, the end of the month, we're bookmarked with a 4 energy and the new moon. So what this is really saying is like leadership models are crumbling. Can you guys feel that? There is a lot of outdated leadership models that are crumbling. Leadership models that are built on false hierarchies and pedestaling that are crumbling. So you have an opportunity this month to stake your energetic ground, I guess, to anchor in your energetic belief system and coding around what does leadership look like to me? And this type of leadership we're moving into, hello, with all the twos that we have that we're facing this year, you know, we just had the 22222 portal. It's a 222 year, all of it, okay, is collaborative and intuitive and deeply connected. Okay, so how am I in the month of March anchoring in leadership models that are based on collaboration, connection, interdependent, and intuitive? Right? How am I anchoring that in? You've got the month of March to really feel like, what does that mean to me? What leadership do I like? What am I buying into? And what am I backing away from? Because it's just not a fit for the energetic pattern that I'm anchoring in to move forward. Okay. So notice whenever you're working on these kinds of belief systems, notice what do I see in the world around me that I like, that works for me? What do I see in the world around me that I don't like, which does not work for me? And just take note. And the contrast serves in teaching you what you want more of. The next important date that I want to point out is Wednesday, the 2nd of the month, a very intuitive day. So this is a time where you want to take time to connect with yourself in whatever way that means. If you already have an intuitive practice, great, apply that. If you don't have an intuitive practice, that's totally okay, totally fine. But like, go for a walk, spend some time in nature, do a meditation, have a bath, listen to some meditative music, go and sit by the beach. That's my favorite. I like to go and sit by these cottonwood trees that I love that overlook the beach. I will do a reading, right? It's also a time where if you don't want to do that for yourself, reach out, do a reading swap with a buddy. One of my favorite things about my numerology community is that people will often do reading swaps and buddy readings, which is so powerful. So reach out to your buddies and ask, can we swap readings? Or reach out to a practitioner. You can reach out to one of the numerologists I've trained or a practitioner that you trust and ask them for a reading. Because it's about that self-reflection. So take time for that on Wednesday, tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. I'm like, what day is it? On the 2nd of the month, on the Wednesday, reach out. Ask for someone to support you or take some time to support yourself to connect in with your intuition. It's going to be a very intuitive day. The next date that I would like to point out to you is the 10th of the month. So that's Thursday, the 10th of March. We are going to be entering into a very, very, very important manifestation cycle, which feels to me like the crumbling and releasing of the old and creating space and opening up opportunities for the new. And that cycle, it's a cycle that runs from the 10th to the 18th. And it's incredibly potent. There's a moon manifestation and a numerology manifestation that line up. And at the time of karmic pattern adjustment and equilibrium, at a time of mirroring and self-reflection, right? So what I really would invite you to do in this time is awareness and noticing. So if you have a journaling practice, just take some time every day to be like, What am I noticing in the world around me that I like, that I don't like? What am I noticing within myself that I like, that I don't like? What are the thought patterns and belief systems that I'm hanging on to or experiencing that I like, that I don't like? What do I wish I experienced more of? What do I wish I experienced less of? And just really bring into your awareness what you're noticing. And this is where it's really important to be honest and truthful with yourself, because denying or pretending not to look is like la la la, you know what I mean? Not helpful, not helpful at all. Any type of transformation and transmutation process begins with awareness and then acceptance, right? So letting yourself take time for that. The 18th of the month is the next most significant date. This is a big, big release. If you can, I invite you either gather with a small group of friends or take this time for yourself and know that you're energetically part of a circle, a community that is doing it at the same time as you. And be ready to welcome transmutation. Be ready to welcome that shift and that completion and that release into what's next. So you might do a burning ceremony, a letter writing ceremony. You might do a reading for yourself or reach out to a reading. It's another great day to get support from somebody if you have an intuitive that you trust or that's something that speaks to you. But this is a really great time to be willing to put down and leave behind you the things you're done with because of all the noticings that you've done up until the 18th, right? That's a great prompt even. Like, I am so done with. I'm just done with it. Like, c'est fini. Okay? C'est fini. What else? The next important date that I want to point out would be the 28th. So Monday, the last Monday in March. This is a slow ramp up into our self-leadership, into our power, into how we want leadership to look, how we contribute to that with, one of the greatest things I learned when I worked in corporate years ago was we used to talk about the difference between small L leadership and big L leadership. Big L leadership means someone's giving you a title of leader, right? You're like a manager of something, you're in charge of something, whatever, like you've got a title to go along with it. Small L leadership means you walk your talk. You show up in alignment with your truth. You lead by example according to your priorities and your value system. You honor your energetic code. You're an embodiment of that, right? And it reminds me of that Marianne Williamson's quote, right? Which is, she talks about, the more you let yourself be the light and illuminate your gifts, the more you give others permission to do the same. Right. And it's the same in this 4-day cycle from the 28th to the 31st. The more you claim and own your integrity, your truth, your priorities, and what you want leadership to look like by being willing to walk your walk, the more walk your talk, the more you give other people permission to do the same. Right. If you're willing to say, you know what, this is what's important to me. This is how I want to run my life, my business, my family, my community. This is how I want it to look like. So this is how I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up in such a way that creates that to be possible. You make it possible for the people around you to see that and be like, oh my God, that's what I want too. I'm going to go walk beside so-and-so because that's what I want too. Oh my God, she's doing it. This is incredible. I love that she's doing it because it shows me it's possible for me to do it too. Oh, she's making those waves. She's making those decisions. She's claiming that for herself, for her family, for her business, whatever it is. I can do that too. I can have that too. That's possible for me too. And to me, this is one of the most inspiring forms of leadership is like when I fully claim and embody my truth, my priorities, it makes it possible for you guys to do the same. Whether you like them, don't like them, agree with them, don't agree with them, it creates a field of possibility where you see that you can have what yours are, right? That version of butterfly, you get to be that on your terms. It doesn't have to look like me or mine or other people's or theirs. It gets to look like yours, according to your code, according to your energetic practices, according to your priorities. So how's that feeling, guys? What's landing? Tell me what's going down for you. I want to know if you can comment in the chat. What's your biggest takeaway? What are you gonna like? I just shared a ton of information. If this is kind of landing in any way whatsoever, I invite you to listen again, and just because there's an energetic experience as well as the information I'm sharing that you can be integrating. But I want to know, like, what are you taking away from this? What are you going to apply? What are you going to put into practice? Um, yeah, I want to know what's really landing. I know for me, one of the biggest takeaways that I got spending some time with the energy today is trusting my pace, that my pace is right for me, that my pace is perfect for me. In fact, my pace is the most effective pace for me, right? There's nobody else's pace that works better for me than mine. I know it's best for me, right? So that's what I'm taking away from this energy. And yeah, I also have some trainings coming up, some free trainings. I will be announcing the details of that shortly in the next few weeks. So either keep an eye on my socials or subscribe to my email list if you want to be the first ones to kind of find out what's going on. And very excitingly, my next practical numerology certification training is starting in the middle of April. So if this is something that you are curious how to understand and interpret energy using the language of numbers, come and talk to me about it. Let me share what that's going to look like. Let me share the details. I will be sharing more, obviously, as time goes on, but the next chance to take the certification with me is the middle of April. You'll get to be a part of my beautiful, amazing numerology community. And you'll learn how to do like exactly what I just did for you today for your communities if you want, as well as understanding personal energies and forecasting energies. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I love, love, love your energy. I so appreciate spending this time with you. And I look forward to going through your comments and seeing what's coming up for you guys. And I look forward to seeing you in the next trading rounds that I've got coming up in the next few weeks. And I want to know, what are you going to do about this information? I hope you guys have an amazing day. We'll talk soon.